Alright guys, moving on to our next Patreon request, and this one comes from Christopher Rosa, who asked me to do a Spider-Man Wonder Woman crossover. And this could actually happen considering now that Marvel and DC are playing nice. So this could actually, like, a Spider-Man Wonder Woman story could actually happen. I mean, that's like something like that could actually, it's possible now. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. As always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over to my Patreon, hit the third tier. That'll allow you access to do so. Other than that, let's get started with the video. So, this isn't going to be your typical Spider-Man Wonder Woman story. In fact, this is going to be set in a different era, because I wanted to have fun with it this time. We're going to be setting this in the 80s, or as Spider-Man would, or DC would call it, a few years ago. So, yeah, this is a Peter Parker who still has the symbiote suit, like before Venom. This is the black costume, and this is post-crisis Wonder Woman. So there we go. So the story begins with Diana. She's basically just out, saving a building from that caught on fire, and during all this, she after the whole thing is said and done, after saving these people, she gets like a message from this old crone in the crowd, and she's like, "Follow me," and she's like, "Well, this seems ominous, but okay." So this woman turns out to be like an oracle from Themyscira, and they're like, "Diana, I have a message from your mom. There's something you gotta take care of." And they're like, "What happened?" Basically, someone broke into Themyscira and stole something from us. And Diana's like, there's no way someone could break into Themyscira and steal something from the Amazons. And they're like, well, someone did, and it was this woman is in New York. You gotta go find her. And they're like, well, who is it? And he's like, she calls herself the Black Cat. And Diana's like, I've heard of the Black Cat. Like, doesn't she run with Spider-Man sometimes? That's what they say in the Daily Bugle. And keep in mind, this is still a time where, like, Peter is still, like, being seen as, like, hero or menace. So Diana's like, I've heard stories about Spider-Man, and a lot of them don't, and I don't believe Man's newspaper, but, like, if he's, like, in league with a thief from Themyscira, I gotta get information, I have to figure out what's going on. So Diana travels to New York, and meanwhile, Peter's just kind of like web-slinging along, having a grand old time. And basically what happens is he gets a message from Felicia, and Felicia's like, hey, so Pete, you gotta meet me, there's a problem. So Peter's like, oh, Felicia, what did you do? And he meets her at on a rooftop, and he's like, all right, Felicia, what is going on? Like, what exactly happened? You can tell me what happened. So what happened was Felicia did go to Themyscira, and she went to Themyscira and stole from the Amazons. And he's like, whoa, time out. You went to the island of all women, like that that's where Wonder Woman says she's from, right? You broke in there. How did you get there, first off? And she goes, so I had a little help, and I was working for this business, a woman who claimed to be some businesswoman who was an who had like a flair for archaeology, and she said there's a relic there that belonged to her family, and I was going to go steal it. So I got it and was supposed to get a big check. Well, it turned out that person turned out to be a sorceress by the name of Circe, and I got out of there pretty fast because there's something you need to know. And sure enough, it was Circe, but not just Circe. Yeah, Circe's working with Dr. Octopus. So we have a team up between Circe and Dr. Octopus. Felicia got the hell out of there, but however, when she went to go look for Peter for help, Circe caught up with her and turns Felicia into a cat, into literally a black cat, and Peter's just like, oh fuck! This is a call for Doctor Strange, and that's when Doc Ock shows up. And keep in mind, this is a time when Doc Ock had just put in adamantium tentacles. So Peter's trying to desperately fight both Circe and Dr. Octopus while also trying to protect Felicia, who's now biting and scratching into his arm. So he has to like he web slings out of there, and he's just like, holy shit. So he brings Felicia to his apartment, and he's like, I need to go like find Doctor Strange and get help. However, that's when there's a knock at the door, and Peter is like, "Oh, that's probably great. That's Mary Jane. Like I like great. Or it could be fucking anybody. Like I am no mood for this." So he has the suit change into normal clothes, and he like knocks on the door, and he sees it's Diana. It's Wonder Woman, and she goes, "Peter Parker, I need your help in contacting Spider-Man." And he's like, "One moment." Closes the door and has like an existential crisis because he's like, oh fuck, Wonder Woman is here, and doesn't she fight Cersei? Of course she was gonna show up. Well, yeah, I can't let her know she's Spider-Man, but yeah, I'll go get. Like he opens the door again, he's like, yeah, I'll help. So she's like, I don't know how you get in contact with him, but I need help. I need you to contact Spider-Man to tell him that I have questions for him. I am in need of questions of him because I believe someone in league with he is aware of has stolen from my island. And Pete's like, he's like leaning against the door, like, yeah, you don't say. I'm so fucked. So Diana leaves, and Peter's just like, he's looking at like even Diana like notices the cat. He's like, you have a lovely cat, and he goes, oh yeah, she's a rescue. Bye. So he closed the door and is like, what the fuck do I do? Felicia, you got me into so much shit, and I gotta figure out a way to save you. Now I have to go like contact Wonder Woman. So Peter gets back in the black suit and like web slings out of there to try to pretend like, oh, Peter Parker I can say like, oh, Peter Parker contacted me and shit and like that. But as he's web slinging out of there, Diana just flies by and is like, excuse me, Spider-Man, we must speak. And Peter's like, oh, hi, Peter Parker told me. And she goes, yeah, I suspected that, you were probably nearby listening in on our conversation. She doesn't, it's not like, oh, I know you're Peter, but I'm playing dumb. She's like, yeah, I suspect that, like, you were probably nearby listening in on the conversation. You're quite stealthy. Also, don't you wear, like, a red and blue costume? He's like, oh, yeah, that old thing. I thought I'd, keep up with the times and look nice. What do you think? And she goes, you look like a buffoon. And he goes, cool, thanks. So, what can I do you for, Princess of Themyscira? And she goes, yeah, listen, your friend, I need to speak with your friend Black Cat, because she stole from my island. Now, I don't think you were a part of it, but you definitely are in league with her, so I need to speak with her so she can give it back. And he's like, look, I got my own problems, and listen, Black Cat's is a little indisposed, so there's someone I need to go talk to first. And Diana's like, no, we're not done talking. And that's when he's like, oh crap, here we go. So he grabs Diana, he's like, no touchy, and just throws her. And that's the moment he realizes, two things. One, holy crap, I just threw Wonder Woman, a woman as strong as Superman. And so maybe this suit is giving me just a bit of boost in power. And two, oh shit, I threw Wonder Woman, this is gonna be bad. So, yeah, Wonder Woman and Spider-Man get into a fight, and Peter, thanks to the symbiote suit, is actually like holding his own, but it's still Wonder Woman. However, that's when the fight gets broken up by the Sinister Six, but it's a little different. See, Hobgoblin, Rhino, and Mysterio are there, but also Silver Swan, Cheetah, and Giganta. So we have a combination of a new and improved Sinister Six. So Spider-Man and Wonder Woman team up to fight them, and they're like trying to figure out like, what the hell? How did this happen? Like how? And that's when Peter's like, look, Black Cat did come to talk to me, and Diana, she got duped into working with Cersei and Dr. Octopus. And she's like, oh, you should have told me that from the beginning. He's like, yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know why I can't why, why we can't just talk about things and have to fight. but we got to fight now. So you have like a bunch of. So if this was a comic, this would be such a great like a great image of like Peter fighting Wonder Woman's foes and also Diana fighting Spider-Man's enemies. Like you have her like battling the Hobgoblin, and she like grabs a pumpkin bomb and just crushes it in her hand. Then not like lassos Hobgoblin off of the glider and just tosses him aside. Then gets into like a fight between her and Rhino. And she just picks him up and like Rhino's like, I've gone toe to toe with the Hulk, and she goes, I fought Superman, and just punches him into the stratosphere, and like is battling Mysterio and is like, you claim to be a wizard, but you're nothing but a charlatan. I fought actual wizards. You're not one of them. Beats him. And then you have like Spider-Man battling like Silver Swan, and he's like, it's like battling Vulture. Always go for the wings. Fights Cheetah, and actually is like, holy crap, this is like fighting Kraven, but on steroids. So webs her, like takes her down, and then proceeds to fight Giganta, and he's basically just like he's like, you ever seen Empire Strikes Back? And just proceeds to like wrap her legs and knock her down into like the Hudson. So with them defeated, they now have to like they now like interrogate the six of them, and they're like, yeah, we got brought together by Cersei and Doc Ock, and they're like like they tell them where they are, because Diana, like Spider-Man's like, well, I can never get these guys to talk, and then Diana goes, thankfully I can, and use the lasso of truth on them to figure out where Cersei and Ock have gone. So Peter and Diana travel to where they're being hidden with their hideout, and it's revealed that yeah, they are working together, Cersei and Ock. And what it was, the thing that they had Felicia steal was literally a piece of Cersei's power. See, after the whole debacle in the Odyssey, some of the gods got pissed off at Cersei because she was like, she basically got a little power hungry, so they basically kneecapped her and sealed away her power and gave it to the Amazons to protect. Well, now that power she's going to use is going to be hooked up to a machine that is going to be hooked to a satellite that Ock has created, launch it into space, and now Cersei, with a mixture of science and technology at her disposal, is essentially what it's going to do is like, unless the world surrenders to Dr. Octopus and Cersei, they're just going to start turning people, like whole nations, into animals. So Peter and Diana fight, do battle with them, and during the fight, like it's just like an all-out battle, and like Ock, since he has the adamantium tentacles, like is holding his own against Diana, and until Diana she does beat him. Like, she does, like, tie him up with his own tentacles. Meanwhile, Peter's trying to fight Cersei and gets, he gets turned into a spider. She's like, now you really are a Spider-Man. But the symbiote is still around, so you might be knowing you might understand where this is going. Ock frees himself, and now they're, like, ganging up on Diana. But, like I said, the symbiote needs somewhere to go. The symbiote goes to Wonder Woman, now having a new host, Venomized Diana, because that would be a McFarlane toy that would sell to high heaven, takes down Cersei and Ock, and forces, wraps the symbiote around, Cersei, and is just, choking her out. Is like, you're going to fix what you did to Spider-Man and Black Cat, and you're going to stop, or I'm going to eat your brains. And it's like a venom mouth is forming on her, and Cersei relents, and that's when Diana's own willpower has to fight the symbiote off, because she's like, that was something, I would never say that. The symbiote goes back to Spider-Man, and she did see, it was Peter. Yeah, thankfully Ock didn't see that. He got, he was fighting somewhere else against Diana, but Diana did see that it was Peter Parker as Spider-Man. So the symbiote goes back to to Peter, and the day is saved. Felicia's turned back from a cat, and by the end of it, they're saying their goodbyes, and it's like, man, I got to team up with Wonder Woman. This is awesome. And Diana's like, where did you get that suit? And he goes, oh, it was a whole thing on a different planet. It's a cool like alien super suit. And she goes, you should have that looked at. Like, you really need to have that looked at because something's very wrong there. Like, something just doesn't feel right. And he's like, that's ominous. So they part ways. It's all fun and games. But the day is saved. All that. So there you go, guys. That is Spider-Man Wonder Woman. I want to thank Christopher Rosa for this Patreon request as well as continued patronage. And yeah, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of this. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.